Welcome and thank you for joining. Let's take a look at some word problems with equations, grade 9 math. Number 7. The sum of three consecutive odd integers is 411. State the value of the integers. So let's reread the problem one more time and try to write the information down. Remember that consecutive integers are integers that you see on the number line next to each other. When we talk about consecutive odd integers, so let's create a list of three consecutive odd integers. I'm going to start with number 3. That's an odd number. The next odd integer will be number 5. The next odd integer will be number 7. And let's go one more, number 9. As you can see, odd integers will differ from each other by 2 units. So in this case, then, we're going to say that if the first number is represented by the variable x, or in other words, let the first number be x. So we're not going to need these anymore, so let's move this up here. So organize our information, very important. So let the first number be x, then the next number will have to be 2 units greater, because we're talking about not just any consecutive number, but consecutive odd. And the next number will be 2 greater than the previous. Or in other words, we're going to say x plus 4. So in this question, we're told that the sum, so when we say sum, the mathematical operation hiding behind it will be addition. So the sum of these 3 integers is, so whenever we say is, it means equals 411. So let's put all these words into a single equation. So the sum of x with x plus 2 with x plus 4 equals 411. So here are our sums. Solve the equation. So collect like terms. We have x, x, x. So we have 3 x's. So together, 3x. And then we have the numbers 2 and 4. So plus 6 equals 411. Isolate the term that contains x, so 3x equals 411. Bring 6 to the other side, minus 6. 3x equals 411 minus 6 equals 405. Isolate x by dividing both sides by 3. And we discover that x equals, 3 goes into 4 once, 3, 135. So therefore, we're going to say that since x equals 135, it means that the first number is x equals 135. The second number is 2 more, 137. And the third number is 2 more again, which is 139. Therefore, we're going to say that the 3 consecutive odd numbers, and this is how we're going to build the therefore statement. So the 3 consecutive odd numbers whose sum is 411 are 135, 137, and 139. Now, to build the therefore statement, which is a very important part of the solution, we have to read the question and we have to include all the information that is given in the question to make sure that we state the answer clearly and precisely. Next, we have number 8. When 13 is subtracted from 3/8 of a number, the result is 11. Find the number. So read the question again and try to identify what the unknown variable is. So when you assign the unknown variable to a quantity in the problem, we have to look for what we are comparing with. So what we are comparing with is a number. So we have 3/8 of an unknown number, so this will be our x. Now, when 13 is subtracted, it means that subtracted means minus 3/8 of a number. Remember when we say of, it's multiplication. 3/8 is a fraction 3/8. The result is, so whenever we say is, it means equal to 11. So we are subtracting 13, reword the question. So we are subtracting 13 from 3/8 of x. So how do you put that in the equation? So we're going to say that we have 3/8 of that unknown number. Take away 13 equals 11. So as you can see, for the let statement, we're going to say let the number be x. And the 3/8 of the number is 3/8 times x. That's because, again, when we say of, we mean multiplication. So now we are trying to solve the equation for x. As you can see here, we have a fraction involved, but we also notice that the numbers are not in fraction form. So it would be better to isolate the x term, which has a coefficient in fraction form, from the number that is subtracted to it. So that would be 11 plus 13. So 3/8x equals 11 plus 13 equals 24. So next, we will isolate x from 3/8. So there are different ways of looking at this. One of my favorites is by multiplying 3/8 by 8/3, because that allows us to simplify the 3's and the 8 and isolate x. And obviously we have to multiply by 8/3 both sides, and then we can evaluate this. So that is one way of solving or isolating x in a case like this. Now, the more traditional way would be by multiplying both sides by 8 first, so that we can isolate, or you can eliminate the denominator. Now, remember that when a fraction is multiplied by x, it means that the numerator is multiplied by x, because you can look at x as x/1. So these two go together, so that's 3x/8. I find this easier for myself to solve equations when I know where exactly is what exactly x is attached to, which coefficient. So multiply both sides by 8, and that will help us eliminate the denominator. So we have 3x equals 24 times 8, which is 192. Just use a calculator for it. Now isolate x from 3 by dividing both sides by 3. So x would be equal to 192 divided by 3, or 64. So therefore, we're going to say the number is 64. Let's try one more problem. The length of a rectangle is 6 centimeters longer than the width. The perimeter is 60 centimeters. We have to find the dimensions of the rectangle and use proper form for full marks, obviously. So what we are dealing with here is a rectangle, and I'd like to draw one whenever I deal with geometric shapes. So to draw the diagram. So the perimeter is given 60 centimeters. So that's information given. So I can write that down in here so that I understand and I see it better. And we are told that the length of a rectangle, so the length of a rectangle is 6 centimeters more than the width. Now I know whenever I say is, it means equals. And the length of the rectangle, which can be L, would be equal to 6 centimeters longer. So when we say longer, we mean extra or in addition to the width, which we can denote by letter W. So it seems that the length will be 6 more than W. So we need to find the dimensions, which means we need to know W and we need to know what the length is. So we're going to have to let one of the dimensions be the unknown. So in this case, we're going to let the width be represented by W. The reason why we choose width is because we are comparing length with the width. So it is easier to let the width be W, or be represented by W. So therefore, we're going to say the length, according to the information given, is 6 plus W, or you can say W plus 6. It's the same thing. Now, in order to find width and length, we need to use the perimeter. We know that the perimeter in a rectangle is 2 lengths and 2 widths, or you probably have seen it as 2 length plus width. It's the same idea. So with a perimeter of 60 centimeters, length of 6 plus W, and a width of W, and now we're able to find W because we have an equation with a single variable. So we have 60 equals 2, 6 plus 2W, 60 equals 12 plus 4W, so 60 minus 12 equals 4W. 60 minus 12 is 48. And that gives W equal to 48 over 4, which equals 12. So therefore, we're going to say W is 12 centimeters, and the length, which is W plus 6, would be 12 plus 6, or 18 centimeters. I hope this made sense, and thank you for learning with me. Bye for now.